What happens when you finally build the life that you prayed for and it still doesn't feel the way you thought that it would? That was the question I didn't have the answer to. Because from the outside, my life looked very successful. I had built a thriving business. People respected me. They trusted me. I had become very good at what I did. But on the inside, I was still waiting to feel like I had finally arrived. Do you know that feeling? I kept believing that the next accomplishment would do it. But every time I reached that next level, the feeling didn't last. The goal changed, but the question remained. Why doesn't success feel the way I thought it would? For years, I thought the answer was to keep going, work harder, dream bigger, become better. But no matter how much I accomplished, there was always something there waiting for me to prove. The next achievement promised fulfillment, but fulfillment never came. And I want to be clear, I'm not ungrateful for the life that I had built. I was proud of what I had accomplished. I just couldn't understand why the success I could clearly see on the outside had not created the fulfillment I was expected to feel on the inside. Eventually, I realized I had spent years trying to answer an internal question with an external achievement. I wasn't only building a successful life, without realizing it, I was asking success to settle something on the inside of me. And that realization caused me to stop asking, what do I need to accomplish next? And I started asking, what has been driving me to accomplish all of this in the first place? This is when I began to see the hidden patterns beneath my success. A hidden pattern is something you've learned so long ago, and you repeat it so often that it no longer feels like a pattern. It feels like your personality. I thought I was just being strong, but I never stopped to ask why I always felt like this, why it had to be this way. I thought I was simply independent, but I never considered what taught me that needing other people might not be safe. I thought pushing through was just a part of who I was. And yes, those qualities helped me build a life I could be proud of, so don't misunderstand me. But I began to understand that a strength and survival strategy can sometimes look exactly the same from the outside. The difference is what's driving it under beneath. One comes from freedom, while the other one comes from a belief that says, I have to be this way in order to feel safe, accepted, valued, or enough. That was the part I couldn't see, because hidden patterns rarely introduce themselves as problems. They blend you into the way that you are, the way you love, the way you achieve, the way you move through this world. They can produce results. They can earn admiration. They could even help you create a life that looks successful. I know this, y'all. I did it for over 30 years. But while everyone else is celebrating the woman that you've become, you may still be wondering why being her feels so exhausted. And maybe you understand that. But I didn't. Maybe you've become the woman everyone can depend on, but you don't know how to let anyone be there for you. Maybe people know your accomplishments, your strengths, your abilities to keep going. But very few people know what it costs you to maintain that version of yourself. Because what I've discovered is somewhere along the way, it felt safer to be admired than to be fully known. That's what I thought. And when being admired feels safer than being fully known, success can become more than something you accomplish. It can become something you hide behind. Not because you're dishonest, not because your success is not real, but because the accomplished version of you may feel more acceptable than the vulnerable person under beneath. So you keep showing up. So you keep showing the people the woman who can handle everything while silently wondering, what if I stop performing? What if I stop producing? What if I let people see the parts of me that don't have it all together? Would I still be enough? Yeah, this is the questions that kept plaguing me. Now, I could stand here and tell you what I think your pattern is, but I don't believe you need another person telling you who you are and what's wrong with you. You already know how to follow instructions. You already know how to create a plan, meet deadlines, and make things happen. You don't need more pressure. You need a safe place to tell yourself the truth. You need the right question. You need someone who can hold up a mirror without using that mirror to condemn you. Because when the mirror is held with compassion, you can stop asking, what is wrong with me? And begin asking, where did I learn this? What have I been believing? And is this belief still serving the woman who I'm becoming? These questions changed the way I saw my entire life. They helped me recognize that the problem was never my desire to succeed. Success wasn't the enemy. Success allowed me to use my gifts to build, to influence, to create, to serve, to make impact. The problem was what I had unknowingly asked success to do for me. I had asked it to give me worth, to give me identity, to prove that I mattered, to finally make me feel like I was enough. That led me to one of the greatest truths I've ever learned. Pulling closer. This is what I learned. Success cannot heal what it did not create. I'm going to say that again. Success cannot heal what success did not create. You can change your title without changing the way you see yourself. You can reach the goal and still carry the same question that was there before you even started. You can receive the applause only to discover the applause cannot reach the part of you that still feels unseen or unworthy. That doesn't mean your success is empty. It doesn't mean you have failed. It may simply mean that you've reached a place where your external accomplishments can no longer distract you from what's asking to be healed internally, down on the inside, that little girl. And that's not the end of your story. It may be the first honest page of a new one. And that's why I created the hidden pattern assessment. It's not another personality test designed to tell you who you are. It's not there to put you in a box. Think of it as a mirror. In less than 10 minutes, you'll answer 10 questions to help you recognize the hidden pattern that may be shaping the way you experience success and fulfillment. The assessment will not diagnose your entire life. It will simply help you identify where to look at. Because once you have the language for what you've been experiencing, you can begin understanding what's underneath it. You can see the belief. You can recognize the protection. You can understand why the pattern was created and decide whether you still need it today. And I want you to remember this. Whatever pattern you uncover is not your identity. It is something you learn. It may have helped you to survive. It may have helped you to succeed. It may have protected you during a time you didn't know any other way. So we don't meet that pattern with shame. We meet it with curiosity. We thank it for how it helped us. And then we ask whether it still belongs in the life we are becoming or building now. That is awareness, my friend. And the awareness is where the coming home process begins. I named it the coming home process because the journey isn't about creating another version of yourself for the world to approve of. It's about returning to the woman beneath the performing, the proving, the protecting, and the pushing. The woman who doesn't have to earn her worth. The woman who can be both strong and supported, successful and fulfilled, accomplished and fully known. Because after everything that I've lived, everything that I've accomplished, everything that I tried to become, I discovered something I wish I would have known much, much sooner. I spent years trying to become enough to only discover I already was. And that is what I want for you. Not less ambition, not less impact, not less success. I want you to stop asking success to prove something about you that was already true before you accomplished any of it. I want your success to become an expression of who you are, not evidence that you are enough. I want your life that you've built on the outside to begin to align with the woman who you are down on the inside. And that begins by seeing what has been there all along. So I'm not going to tell you what your pattern is. I'd rather help you see it for yourself. So click below, take the hidden pattern assessment, 10 questions, less than 10 minutes, and perhaps the most important thing you will discover won't be what you need to accomplish next. It will be what has been quietly shaping the woman who has been doing all the accomplishmenting. Can I hold up a mirror? Let's find out what's there.